Stay up to date with Rush to Reason after the show on Twitter @Rush to Reason and on Facebook.com/Rush to Reason.
All right, Rush to Reason, Denver's Afternoon Rush, KLZ 560. Kurt Rogers joining us just one moment. David, though, has a call and a comment real quick. David, what's going on?
Hey, just real quick, I was going to give my 2 cents on the workplace over my last 40 years of being in it.
Yes.
And the women, in my lifetime, the women that I've seen the reverse on their side of
yes,
fine and so forth slip, and you see it with the younger women than you do the women in our age bracket, John.
Mm-hmm.
The younger women have adapted themselves, in my book, lowered their standards to act like sometimes crass men, or what is the feminine touch is lost. So it's a double-edged sword. At the end of the day, they have fallen victim themselves by their own admission, I guess, is one way. That's one viewpoint, but
I agree.
It's kind of my thought.
No, I agree with you, David. No, well said. I think that's I appreciate the comments. That's a good addition to what we just talked about there. Dan, I think David's exactly right.
Yeah, no, he is.
So.
Yeah, good comment, David. Thank you.
And by the way, topics will continue on with that one's not going away in 2018. I can guarantee you that. So we'll continue to talk about that particular topic. Kurt Rogers now joining us, though, Affordable Interest Mortgage. Kurt, welcome.
Nice to be here, and I want to add a comment to what you were talking about, credit restoration.
Yes.
Where you said that their credit will be fixed. What a lot of people don't understand, and we've talked about this, is that the difference, I have a client that the difference between what his score is and 9 points actually cost him an extra $4,200.
Wow.
Because of the rate and the cost to the loan. And people say, well, that can't be. Well, it can be because that's what the lenders do because of risk.
Yes.
So when you're going to pay somebody $350, $500 to fix your score,
which is really
nothing.
About all these guys charge. It's not a huge fee.
That's nothing compared if they get your score up 20, 30, 40 points.
Yep.
Now, all of a sudden, you're getting a much better rate, and you're not paying fees to get to that rate.
That's a great point. I'm glad you just said that. Okay, I got some questions for you, and I know you got some things to add to it, but we were talking to Andy Goss yesterday. And Andy's our money guy, gold guy, all of that, and is also a guy that believes in if your house is paid for, mortgage it to the hilt. Even if you've got a ton of equity in it, raise that mortgage, get as much out of it as you possibly can, because the way the money is cheap on that side, you can go put it into other things. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you about just on a personal basis is this idea of taking some of that equity and doing either a second home where you can vacation in it but then still rent it out and do all of that. And I'm guessing there's people out there thinking, well, John, you got to write a check for that. And how do you get all that much money saved up? And I'm asking you, do you really have to write a check for it, or can you mortgage and manage that the same way you do your existing home?
We had a great show on that on Tuesday on Your Money Matters, but we talked about that with the home values appreciating. The average home in Denver right now is $381,000.
Okay.
For 2017, homes are appreciating at 7.8%. So as your house goes on a $350,000 mortgage or value, if it's going up roughly 8%, you're making $20,000 to $25,000 a year.
Okay.
So leveraging some of that, taking some of that equity out to turn around and buy an investment property makes a lot of sense now for a lot of different reasons. Because even with the new tax laws, you get to write off rental property. You may lose the interest on your home, but now you can convert some of that equity into profit over here and still be able to turn it. With the market the way it is, rental prices are still going to be very good, so the property is going to cash flow.
Right, because not everybody can buy.
Right. And you're not going to leverage your house, but the equity that you've made in the last 2 or 3 years. Maybe you might have to put $30,000, $40,000 down, but you've built that equity in your home, and you now get to make it work for you, paying you a greater rate of return with the tax deduction still built in.
Okay. What about, and I know some individuals that do this, where you maybe have I'll just use, I don't know. So you've got a house here and a house in Malibu.
Correct.
I'm just picking a place.
Right.
I have no idea. But let's just say that you somehow end up with house in Malibu, house here. And you want to divide your time up and still rent your place out when you're not there. I know there are means to where you can actually do both. So even if you're not going to be here for 2 months and you're going to go to Malibu, you can rent this existing house.
Yes.
Still go to Malibu for 2 months, when you're not in Malibu and you're back here, do the reverse, and it's really not that hard to manage all of that.
You can, the only portion of that you have to pay attention to is what your accountant tells you, which one you're going to count off as a rental, if either one. But you can do that both. I have people that do that they'll live in one house for a period of time and then come back and live in the other one, and then they'll rent out the time they're not there.
Got it.
So, yes, it can be done. And there are people that are doing it. And what it does is it subsidizes the payment, so they're making your equity payment for you.
Right.
Yeah, I had a guy in my car today that does exactly that. He spends this time of year in Hawaii, 6 months.
Really?
And then 6 months in Colorado, which, John, you're not allowed to do.
It'd be hard for me to do 6 months. But I'm thinking even if you could do, in my world, even if I could do a month and a month or something along those lines eventually. I mean, I'm talking right now, but on down the road, and be able to have the properties to make that work where, to Andy's point, you're making that equity that you now have work in other ways, making, and you got to be picky, I realize. I mean, we're not talking about buying a condo in South Chicago.
Right.
Okay, that
it has to be resort area.
Yeah, I'm not talking South Chicago. I'm saying, you go buy something in, like a San Diego or even some of the coastal areas of up and down the whole West Coast. There's parts in Oregon. There's parts in Vail.
Do a place in Vail.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Estes Park. I mean, there's all sorts of places we could talk about where there are potential vacationers.
Correct.
I think would be the key word there. Is there's potential vacationers coming in that you could rent that property to. And folks, let me give you a little tip here. If you're especially, now it could probably work anywhere in the metro area, but if you're especially on the west side of our metro area, Golden, Lakewood, Boulder, even, believe it or not, Louisville, Lafayette, Broomfield,
right.
You're not that far from the ski resorts where you could literally even advertise your existing home or condo as one of those places right now in our area, correct?
That is correct. And if you have two places, let's say you want to take a vacation and you go for 2 months to this place, rent it out for the other 10. You can still use your home, but you could actually have more than one place. Maybe a place in Hawaii, maybe a place in Vail. Okay, I'll spend 2 months in Hawaii. I'll spend 2 months in Vail, or 3 in each, and then I'll live here for 6.
Got it.
While you're not in those other 2, you can rent those out.
They're producing income.
Right, and it pays your income, and you're good to go. So when you're living there, it's technically free.
And I'll tell you what, I drive a lot of people still to Airbnbs. All over the metro.
No, I was just going to say,
all over the metro.
Trust me, managing these, for a lot of you out there listening thinking, well, geez, John, how would I go about managing these? Trust me, there are organizations out there, and I'm sure Kurt could even direct you to where some of those are, that can assist you with how this stuff gets done. And believe me, folks, it's not that complicated.
No, it's just a little bit of social media advertising and a management company.
I've got several
you're
friends
out of the way.
that, I've got a friend that's got a resort up in Breckenridge.
Mm-hmm.
Does exactly what Dan just mentioned, and probably only rents it about a third of the year, but gets enough out of it to pay all of his expenses.
Correct.
Everything. Now, in his case, it's paid for and all of that, but he's making money with what he's doing. I did the math even on some places on the islands,
right?
And the reality there was if you rented it, or if I rented it for only a third of the time,
it pays for itself.
It's done.
Yes. And you rent it in the prime season. You live in the other third of the time, the prime season. Same thing in Vail. I mean,
in other words, you don't want to spend Christmas there. That's when you want to rent.
That's right.
Because it's one of the highest. There are places in Hawaii, for example, on the islands that will bring $10,000 for the month.
Right.
$10,000 for the whole month, 4 weeks, $10,000. Now, tell me you can't make a few mortgage payments with $10,000. Right?
And those kinds of prices are in Breckenridge too.
Yes, they are.
I mean, I've asked people, what do you spend on the Airbnb for the week? $2,500. Stuff like that.
Question for you, along what Dan just said. In your world, Kurt, how do you make all of that work for the potential person that owns the home, has some equity, and wants to go out and do that? Walk us through that whole process.
Well,
how does
if
that
they're
work?
interested in doing that, I need an idea of where they're thinking about what they're wanting to do. How much equity and how much money do they want to put down? Most cases when somebody's buying one of those properties, if it's a second home, they don't really have to put 20%. They can do 10%.
Okay.
If you're going to buy it as an investment to where that's where your CPA comes in and you're going to put it on your tax return, even though it's being only rented for partial, you're picking up enough money to pay for the whole thing. You get the tax break on that side. That's where we sit down and say, okay, here's different advantages. Your CPA is going to need to help you so you can figure that out. We have lost some of our tax credits, but in my opinion, we really haven't. We've actually gained with this new tax law. But the thing you have kept is the rental property. You get to write off a rental property.
Right.
So why not use it? And what they did get rid of was second homes. You can't write off the interest on second homes with the new tax laws, which pushes people to put them into renting them, because now they get the same thing, use it when they want it, rent it the other times.
Yeah, because the reality of staying if you've got a home here, the reality of staying in that 12 months out of the year, it's low.
Correct.
It's not going to happen. You're going to still spend, especially in Colorado, you're going to spend typically your summers here. You're going to be here typically from, I don't know, Kurt, May to October typically.
Yeah, end of September.
Something like that. And then the rest of the year, and if you've got family back here, you're going to come back for Christmas or whatever.
You're going to go to Florida.
Right.
North Carolina, East Coast.
So when it comes to the qualification process for all of that, how does all that work? What do people have to do to make that work?
It
on
works
your end?
pretty much the same way. If you buy the property as an investment property, and it's your first one, which a lot of people don't understand, what you rent it for becomes income. So qualifying for it is almost like you're not even. It's not.
How do they
costing
prove
you
the
any
rental
extra.
income without you owning it yet? How does that work?
Because the regulations say you get 75% of whatever the payment is income. Now, if you've had rental income, depending on how you write it off and depreciate it, that will then determine the income on it.
But if you're
it's your
going in,
first one,
if you're going in fresh, you've never had a rental property like that before. There's tables or figures they use against that.
if you rent it for $2,000, they're going to give you $1,500 worth of credit as income.
Now, how do they figure what the rental? To Dan's point, where he says, "Yeah, these things are rented for $2,500." Okay, says who? Who proves that?
Very good question. When you have the property appraised, they do what they call as a 1007, which is a rent analysis, and it will tell you what the properties are renting for in that area. And as long as you're in that range, you're fine.
So
now
basically,
you may charge more because this property has more, but as long as you're in
doing
that
an analysis,
range, that's fine.
much like an appraisal, it's doing a market analysis of what things in that area are renting for like properties.
That's exactly right.
And they've used that figure to help you qualify for the loan.
And they count 75 cents on the dollar as your income. Right now, some of the greatest things out there with all the new tax laws is if you're thinking about getting into it and you don't want to do this, go out and buy a duplex.
Right.
With the new loan limits and what they've done there, you're up to $630,000. You get to live in one side of it and maybe pay $1,000 a month, and the tenant on the other side is going to pay the rest of your mortgage.
And eventually you move out and go do another one.
A year later,
you have two-year rent.
You do it again. I have one guy, he has 13 properties, and he started back in 2006 doing that. Every 2 years, he rolled.
Wow.
Yeah, Kurt and I are talking.
Okay, so
Kurt and I are talking.
People out there listening are thinking, that all sounds great, guys, until there's a hiccup, and then what happens? Well, keep in mind, and I don't think I'm looking at this pie in the sky. Kurt, you can tell me otherwise, but there are areas of the country, and I know where some of these are because I've been to some of them, to where, honestly, even during the deep recession, stuff was still renting to tourists coming in. Because keep in mind, if you go to the right tourist area, there are people coming worldwide into that area, not just from the States. In other words, you go to, pick Hawaii, for example. In Hawaii, you've got people coming from Europe. You've got people coming from Asia. You've got people coming from all over the world that are renting properties there, not just the U.S. mainland.
I completely agree. And if you remember back to the meltdown in 2008, what happened, people lost homes. Well, people still need to live somewhere.
True.
So all of a sudden, where are they going? Because the banks, when they foreclose on a home, they keep it on the market.
Right.
It's not rented out.
True.
So you've taken, let's say, 20,000 homes off
out
the
of
market.
out of the
These
system.
people got to live somewhere.
True.
So they're going to rent something to get by and not deal with any of the maintenance or any of the costs with them.
True.
So the rents may come down a little bit for them, but to them it's better off. The bank's got empty homes. It keeps driving the market. People need a place to stay, even in a down market.
Okay. All right. Hold that thought. We'll come right back. And again, if you got a question for Kurt, please call us 303-477-5600. The way to get a hold of Kurt, by the way, 720-895-0500. That's his number right at Front Range or Affordable Interest Mortgage. And he'll meet you anywhere along the Front Range is what I meant to say. So you'll drive up and down the Front Range, meet anybody anywhere you want to meet, right?
How can you not drive around Colorado? It's beautiful.
It's much like Michael Bailey is what I meant to say as well. So
Yes.
Michael will meet you anywhere you want to meet. Kurt will do the same thing.
Yep.
Now, along those lines, real quick, I want to make sure I added this, Kurt. I've never been to your office.
I have one.
I know, and I've never been there, which shows everybody out there listening that you can do all of this, like I said, up and down the Front Range without ever having to
come to my office.
Come to your office.
Actually, we do paperless now, so I don't even need your documents.
It's even better than when
And I have been to Kurt's office.
Have you?
It's a really nice office.
By the
too,
way, where is
just off of Arapahoe
is
Road.
it? By the way?
Arapahoe in Quebec.
Yep.
Thinking I've never
So,
been
hey,
there.
Kurt can say that real fast. Kurt, where's your office?
Arapahoe in Quebec.
No, but you do that address thing really fast.
Oh, 7400 East Arapahoe
There
Road,
you go.
Suite 109.
Yeah, I've never been there. Anyways, all right, let's do this. Bristol Cone Shooting coming up next. They are over off of 6th Avenue and Union. Great place. It's an entire operation. It's not just a shooting range. It's not just a gun store. It's all in one.
So now here's what I would do. See, I would go get that equity line of credit on my house, and then I would go make my shooting range. I'd go borrow my guns at Bristol Cone.
You can do that.
That's what I do.
Or I'd go buy a rental property and shoot at the range of Bristol Cone.
There you go. That's even better.
I think I would do that and let them handle all the hassle of owning the actual range. 303-985-0989. Find them at bristleconeshooting.com and tell them Rush to Reason sent you.
When Jacqueline and Brian Clark opened Bristol Cone Shooting in 2015, they intentionally created an inviting atmosphere where all levels of shooters would feel comfortable. Jacqueline knew from experience that gun shops tended to be boys' clubs, and she wanted to offer women the chance to take classes, develop their shooting skills, and enjoy the sport of shooting. In order to provide a facility where beginners would feel at ease, Jacqueline and Brian invested in a state-of-the-art HVAC system that recycles the air every 90 seconds so you never smell the gunpowder. You won't feel out of place or intimidated because Jacqueline and Brian hire all of their own instructors and they personally train their retail employees to greet you warmly when you come in the door. Visit Bristol Cone Shooting on West Cedar Drive in Lakewood and see for yourself that this isn't your grandfather's shooting range. John Rush remains confident that you will feel welcome at Bristol Cone Shooting.
Grandma's Handyman coming up next. No, it's not Grammar's Handyman. It's Grandma's Handyman.
Grandma's Handyman.
Charlie is Grammar's Handyman.
That's correct.
To us, but this is Grandma's Handyman for around the house. Now, with Kurt sitting here, the other thing you can use Grandma's Handyman for is there may be a few things you need fixed up in either the home you're buying, the home you're refinancing, or the home you're getting ready to sell.
Correct.
And in that case, call Grandma's, have them out, get all that particular stuff done. It's real simple, real easy. 303-693-3003. Grandma'sHandyman.com. Tell them Rush to Reason sent you.
You are a skilled handyman, but not so good at all the office stuff that comes up with running a business, and sometimes finding work is a challenge. Let Grandma do all that for you. Grandma's Handyman Service specializes in home maintenance and repairs in and around the Denver area, and Grandma is looking for qualified technicians. All of Grandma's technicians are regular employees, and she treats everyone like family. She'll keep you busy and take care of all the paperwork. Call Grandma's Handyman at 303-693-3003 to start your partnership today. That's 303-693-3003 or find her online at grandmashandyman.com.
It's time to leave your safe space. This is Rush to Reason on KLZ 560.
All right, Rush to Reason, Denver's Afternoon Rush, KLZ 560. Kurt Rogers with us today from Affordable Interest Mortgage. And again, Kurt's number, 720-895-0500. As I said a moment ago, he'll meet you anywhere up and down the Front Range you want to meet. It's really easy. Just call him, set up an appointment, and he'll walk you through everything else that you need. So, Kurt, as I was just talking, and I hated to hog some of that, but I think it dovetailed into what we talked to Andy Goss about yesterday, which is taking some of that money, some of that equity that some of these folks are sitting on, and in some cases it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars that they're sitting on in equity where they could go put that money to work for them doing something else.
The one question I ask people is, what's the rate of return on the equity of your home? It's always zero.
Yeah, nothing. Because you
So
haven't taken
if
the
you
money
had
out yet.
$100,000 or $200,000 in equity or in cash, would you put it in the bank? Would you put it in a pillow? Even if you have to put it in the bank making 0.5%, it's doing you a whole lot better than it is in a pillow.
True.
Because,
In a
so
sack.
if you can borrow money at in the 3s and the 4s and turn around and convert it over to where it's making you 7 and 8,
Yeah.
why would you not do that?
So when we talk about
They
that,
do it all day long,
yeah,
man.
no, and exactly. So we talk about those potential properties we just got done talking about a minute ago. What are rates on those type of properties, and are they higher than your normal mortgage on your primary residence?
If you buy it as a second home, the rate's the same. If you buy it as an investment property, the rate's going to be 1/4 to maybe 3/8 of a point higher.
That's it.
That's it.
That's not bad.
Not when you're
On
looking
today's
at
rates.
No, not
Not
when,
really
no.
generating cash flow with it.
Yeah. See,
Seriously.
I'm serious. No,
Yeah.
you're right.
it's just a way to make your lazy money and you put it to work.
Okay.
Because it's not doing anything for you.
Okay.
Make it work. If you can afford to put $200 or $300 a month into a savings account for your retirement, what could have, if you took the money out and made a payment for $200-$300 and take that lump sum and get a 7-8% return,
Yes.
it's a whole lot better.
Okay, so if people out there listening are thinking about doing this, what are the things they need to do with you to get going on this? What's the steps?
Give me a call. We get the basic information application. I want to ask you some questions as to what's your short-term goal, what's your long-term goal.
Okay.
Where are you looking at in these properties? What have you been told? What are you thinking of to make sure we're all on the same page so you're not believing something's going to happen when it's not?
Okay.
And
because the reason why I think you want to do that is, let's say you are looking at one of these quote-unquote resort-type areas. Typically, there's going to be some realtor there, some finance guy there. They're going to try to rope you into doing everything locally there. Question for you is, does that have to work that way, or can you do it from here?
I can do it anywhere in the state of Colorado.
Okay.
I'm licensed to do loans anywhere. I have realtors that are licensed to do loans anywhere.
Got it.
Now, a realtor local might be able to know the market a little bit better. But as far as the financing, no. The financing is the same no matter where you
So
go.
even if you're looking to do something up in Steamboat, you can do that?
Yes, I can.
Now, what if somebody's looking to do something in Florida?
I am not licensed in Florida, but I have plenty of connections because that's where I'm from originally.
And you can set that
I
up?
can definitely take care of them.
Okay.
I can review their paperwork to make sure they're not being taken advantage of.
Okay. And you would help them with that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I charge nothing. I just
Got it. Okay. All right. So what'd you have for us? Because I just took all your time. But what do you got for us? That's a good topic, though.
Well, there's been some changes in the loan limits, and I want to make a bigger deal about this because it's very important. It's what they've done, what the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac has done. They've raised the loan limits, and by raising the loan limits, what they're saying is that the average 80% of the loans in this country, or the purchase price of homes, has been raised up to $453,000. Okay. Before it was $424,000. Doesn't sound like a lot, but had they not raised them, and with rates going up, that would have affected home values going up because people couldn't afford them because they are then going to jumbo and the rates go even higher. So by raising them, they actually are allowing you to go as high as, in some cases, $526,000 loan at conforming loan rates, which saves you a quarter to a half, which is anywhere from $60 to $90 a month. So you now can qualify for that home. So it keeps the market spurred along. It's a good thing for everybody, and they become important. It also becomes important with those loan limits is you can now take a loan to where you had mortgage insurance, and with the home value going up, you can not only drop that, but get rid of the mortgage insurance, get a lower rate, and not extend your term.
Now you got a nice chunk of money.
And you got a nice chunk of money.
Every
so
month.
by raising those loan limits, they've done a wonderful thing, especially here in Colorado.
It's really helping all of our residents that are here.
Helped everybody. They actually have, and I keep going back to this, you can get a duplex for $626,000 in conforming loan limits. That's amazing.
Live in
Now,
one
you don't
side,
have
rent
to
the
go
other
that
side
high,
out.
but you can find a nice duplex for $500,000.
Stay in one side, rent the other side out.
Right.
And
Total
then-
payment on it might be $2,800. You rent out one side for $2,000, you pay $8,000.
It's a pretty good deal.
It's a great deal.
Jeez. Yeah, no, that's a great deal. All right, I know you got disclaimers and things like that you got to do before we get out of here, so I'll let you do that real quick. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to my address for you, Dan. 7400 East Arapahoe Road, Suite 109, Centennial, Colorado. 720-895-0500. We are regulated by the Division of Real Estate. Our NMLS is 298191, and we are a equal credit lender.
All right, the other thing I would need to
Awesome.
mention, too, is in 2018, Kurt's going to be joining us a couple of times a month. So believe me, if you've got questions for Kurt, and even like I had today, what I would encourage you to do is if you've got some questions where you'd like, hey, I'd like Kurt to cover X, send us an email. Let me know what it is. Kurt and I talk often. All I got to do is pop it out. Tell Kurt, here's some questions coming in. All you guys have to do is go to the website, rushtoreason.com. Let us know what those things are, and we'll get Kurt to cover it twice a month. Sound fair?
Not a problem.
All right, Kurt, as always, really, really love you. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Always good stuff. All right, Kevin Flesh coming up next, fleshlawfirm.com. Another great friend of Rush to Reason and KLZ. Anything you need when it comes to your legal woes, please give Kevin a call. He is trial-tested, trial-ready, Kevin Flesh, 303-806-8886. The website is fleshlawfirm.com. And again, anything legal, you've been in an accident, you got a speeding ticket, you need some help, give Kevin a call today and tell him Rush to Reason sent you.
Okay, turn here. Well, watch it. Watch it. During the moment when you're in a serious car accident, you aren't thinking about who's at fault.
Oh no, what if I never hear my kids laugh again?
You're not thinking about hospital bills or insurance claims.
What if I never hear my husband say I love you again?
I changed your oil.
And you're not thinking about police reports or who your lawyer should be.
I never thought this would happen to me.
In the split second when you're in a car accident, you're thinking about the most important things in life. When you've been in an accident, call Kevin Flesh of Flesh Law at 303-806-8886. Kevin will help you determine who's at fault, what to say to the insurance company, and who will help pay for your hospital bills so you can get back to thinking about the important things. That's Kevin Flesh of Flesh Law at 303-806-8886.
Stay up to date with Rush to Reason after the show on Twitter at Rush to Reason and on Facebook.com/Rush to Reason.
All right, Rush to Reason, Denver's Afternoon Rush, KLZ 560. 1 minute left, and I'm on vacation.
I really thought for sure Charlie was going to play some Hawaiian music of some sort, like something because you're on your way to Hawaii.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. Hula dancers and all that.
Well, you guys will be in good hands while I'm gone. Trust me, Dan's got everything taken care of. You guys are going to be at the Sportsman's
lined up,
Expo, right?
International Sportsman's Expo tomorrow for Rush to Reason.
And
then Saturday for Drive Radio.
So a lot going on. There'll be a lot of things going on while I'm gone, special guest-wise. Jenna's going to come in. Steve Laffey's coming in. Casper's coming in. I know we got a litany of individuals.
He's always a favorite.
Jamie Daniel. There's a whole litany of individuals that are going to come in and take Dan's seat because Dan's going to move into my seat.
That's right. I get the big chair for 8 days.
You got the big chair. Just
looking forward to it. It's fun.
Just direct traffic.
And I've even kind of figured out how to use this note thing you use.
It works well. OneNote.
It does. OneNote. No, it really works great.
It works great. Cassie George will still be kicking around. Of course, Charlie's going to be here. So, again, please don't turn the dial because I'm not here. Keep it tuned right here. Keep listening to Dan. It'll be a blast.
And a big thanks to producer Ann.
Yes. Ann is getting everything done
yes.
behind the scenes.
Thank you,
yes, Ann's not going anywhere. She's here the entire time I'm gone.
Yep.
So, guys, thank you very much. Let's do this. We've got another full hour coming your way. If you missed the first hour, please catch it next. It's on between 6 and 7 p.m. tonight. We had a good first hour, by the way. It was a blast.
We did. It was a really good first
hour.
So
we've got a lot of fun going on today. That was our first hour today was with Richard Giordano talking about the marijuana going on in
It's unbelievable.
Saguache County.
If you missed it,
you
got
to
listen.
A lot of stuff going on down there. So with that, I'm out of here, guys. Have a fantastic day tomorrow and week, and I'll be back the week after. Never fear. John Rush, Dan Meurer, Charlie Grimes, Rush to Reason, Denver's Afternoon Rush, KLZ 560.